I just have to keep on getting on my bike and keep pedaling through this step of my life. But I know one day I'll have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 20,000 live stream viewers. I just have to keep pushing and I can't give up. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's such a good point because once you're locked in onto what needs to get done, and I think the guys would enjoy this too. The game really becomes of just staying on the path, you know,
Mhm.
and which sounds kind of simple when, or kind of sounds kind of easy when you're talking about it. When you're in when you're in that grind season, like you're talking about, it's not. It's you have to really fight to stay on that path and
Mhm.
one of the things that I like that you talk about, John, is that if your inner game's all jacked up, you're gonna make staying on that path even harder.
Yeah. Let's
You know?
talk about that. Let's talk about that,
Yeah.
right? Because your success too. Because a lot of people, I'll tell you this though. I swear to God, I'm 5 to 7 years ahead of the men's self-improvement space, the manosphere, the red pill, whatever you want to put me in. I'm
Mhm.
5 to 7 years ahead of everybody with the inner game stuff
Right.
because a lot of people don't really understand how important this inner game stuff is. And you had a lot of inner game that you were going through
Mhm.
and you removed a lot of that garbage, and that also catapulted your success indirectly because you got
That's
that
right.
shit out of your mind. You wanna talk about that?
Yeah, yeah. So I had a bunch of inner game stuff that I needed to work out. Mainly just insecurities about my like place in life. And it became super overt to me once I became successful and got the coding job. And I think the reason why is because my imposter syndrome was almost overbearing.
Mm,
And it wouldn't go away. I kept feeling like a poor guy faking being, having money. And that's when I started to dig in deeper, and I ended up discovering that I had like a bunch of stuff from like childhood that made me feel that I wasn't enough. I had my dad; he would run out on us a lot, so I always thought, I guess the logic that I had made in my head is that the reason why he was running out on my mom
mm,
and why he would leave us for extended periods of time was because of me. I couldn't conceptualize as a child
mm,
that adults can have fucked up relationships, and that it was their responsibility. But I carried that weight until I was 27 years old, effectively.
mhm,
That it was my fault that he left, and if only I was enough, he wouldn't have
mm.
left, right?
Yeah, that's
Um,
dark.
yeah, man. So it was really eating away at me, and I finally connected with MLD. Started to look at some self hypnosis. Connected with Ryan Fowler as well.
Yep.
We did a session, and it was crazy how much of a weight got lifted over me. I used to have this really incessant voice of consistently being like the drill sergeant to myself, like stop being a little bitch, you complicit, stuff like that. And it would motivate me and get my fire up, but sometimes it could be a bit self-destructive.
For sure.
And ultimately that ended up lessening drastically. And I was able to focus more on my work. And it just so happened that after that session, it was within the next 6 months that I went up from 67 to 85, or yeah, it was like around 85, and then 110
Mm,
in terms of what I was earning. And it wasn't like I drastically pursued, like had the pursuit of gaining that much more money. It was more like I had gone out of my way and I started to allow these opportunities to come into my life, which is crazy.
yeah. And that's what that's what I really value about our guys in our community. That's why I try to get as many of you as on camera because, like some guys have just like big, fantastic, giant personalities and they're just like really charismatic, like Myron, like fucking Andrew, Legal Mindset, and his channel's blowing up. He's doing a great job. He's super successful.
That's good.
And then like these guys are big, charismatic, and they project a very big, positive, like good image. But I also think it's important to show. I consistently try to show the real side of me. Like I don't hide anything. Like yeah, I got a hair transplant. Yeah, I fucking sometimes I prematurely ejaculate. Yeah, sometimes I fucking feel insecure about. Sometimes I get angry. Sometimes I lose my temper. because I think that this whole projection of perfection fucks a lot of people up because it's
Yeah.
not real.
Yeah.
Everybody who's on the internet pretending like I have no problems, I have no girl problems, I have no insecurities, I have no financial problems, I have no legal problems, I have no health problems. I'm the man, kind of like, and no offense, but this is like what Tate does. Like, I'm perfect, I'm the man, I'm whatever, yada, yada, yada. And the people who buy into that are young, impressionable idiots, which we all were at one point. These young guys, ages 18 to 25, they think, oh, I just got to be perfect like this guy. But that's not the reality of life. So I really just think it's so important for me to be as transparent as possible with everything. That's why, like, when I got liposuction, people are like, oh, you're a fraud, you're this, you're that. I'm just like, I don't listen. The reality is just basically this. It's twofold. The science is I wanted the fat cells out of my body, and number two is I would rather be shamed for getting liposuction than being shamed for being fat. So I don't give a fucking shit, you know. But and then I also and I haven't really talked about this yet, but I gained some of the weight back after liposuction, and that's been a real heavy thing on me. And I realize it's because I really didn't do the work to become the man to maintain that body. So the eating habits and the bad shit, they caught up with me again, and the problem has resurfaced itself again. And so I just want to be as open and honest and transparent so these
Yeah.
men can have, because I'm also transparent and honest with my fucking crippling financial success, right? Because I'm the fucking man there.
Yeah.
So I want to just be as open as possible to show the guys with complete transparency. Sure, maybe I'm not doing it perfectly, but I'm showing you how I'm doing it. And if you like what I have to say, you respect what I have to say, all this stuff. I mean, this is what we're doing. And I think that you sharing the insecurities and, the fact that you just didn't feel like you're good enough and that toxic shame. And I think just that raw manness, that raw reality is more beneficial than projecting a fake image that's not real.